Welcome to Zodiac Talks Tarot, where astrology is treated not as a party trick but as a living language that speaks to our choices, our psychology, and the story of the times we live in. I'm glad you're here because today we are diving into Sagittarius and your 3-month journey from October through December 2025, a cycle I like to call the release, the rise, the reward. These months aren't just calendar pages turning, they mark an initiation. If you've been restless, sensing that something in your life is shifting under your feet, this reading is your confirmation that the universe is leaning in and saying, yes, it's time. As someone who has spent years studying both the stars and the inner workings of the human mind, I can tell you that what lies ahead for Sagittarius isn't a simple forecast. It's a confrontation with endings that must happen, beginnings that are waiting on the other side, and the courage to keep walking even when the road ahead looks like a foggy highway at night. You may laugh at yourself along the way because let's be honest, Sagittarius, only you could call a tower moment character development, but that humor is your secret survival kit. In these next 3 months, you will learn that letting go is not weakness, but wisdom, that being chosen is not about ego, but responsibility, and that sometimes rejection is the most elegant form of cosmic protection. Today's reading is about helping you see that every fall, every release, and every rise is perfectly timed for you to step into the destiny that only Sagittarius can carry. Sagittarius, let us begin by admitting one thing right away: life is not always the fair, straightforward journey we like to imagine. Sometimes it feels more like a comedy written by a philosopher, directed by fate, and produced by your own stubborn choices. And if there's any sign in the zodiac who knows how to laugh through a storm while still secretly charting their next great adventure, it is you. For October through December of 2025, your path is defined by 2 great themes: the paradox of releasing what weighs you down in order to receive what lifts you higher, and the recognition that you are stepping into a position that makes you one of the chosen ones in this year of triumph 2025. These themes may sound grand and mythological, but they unfold in very human, very relatable ways: relationships, work, community, and the inner life you've been carrying like a secret travel companion. Let's walk through them together, not as fortune cookie lines, but as deep psychological and spiritual lessons, wrapped in just enough humor to keep your Sagittarian spirit from running for the hills. The first paradox we face is what I call the blessing and the curse. Now, before you start imagining witches with candles and incantations, let's decode it. The so-called curse in your life is not a spell cast by some cloaked stranger, it is more subtle, more ordinary, and more personal. It is that relationship you have outgrown but still nurture because loyalty is stitched into your bones. It is that friend who leaves you feeling drained, as if every phone call were a therapy session you never signed up for. It is the job where you've stayed too long, patching up sinking ships, telling yourself that maybe one day the captain will finally notice your heroic effort. That is the curse, not a supernatural weight but a self-imposed chain, made from your own loyalty and fear of letting go. Here's the thing about Sagittarians: you are not famous for quitting. Fire signs thrive on action, loyalty, and bold commitments. But Sagittarius is also a mutable sign, which means that by nature you are meant to move, to change, to adapt. When you cling too tightly to what has already lost its vitality, you end up postponing the blessing that waits just beyond the door. The universe, in its mischievous wisdom, often has to stage an intervention. Think of it like a cosmic travel agent saying, "Sorry, your flight is cancelled. But don't worry, we've bumped you to first class on a better airline." At first you fume, convinced your plans are ruined, but then you find yourself sipping champagne at 30,000 feet and realize, with typical Sagittarian laughter, that what looked like misfortune was actually an upgrade. This is where Buddhist philosophy gently steps into the room. It teaches that clinging creates suffering. The tighter you grip, the more pain you invite. It is the same for you now, Release is not weakness but liberation. Stop fighting for what does not fight for you. Stop tending to relationships that collapse the moment you loosen your grip. Stop investing in places that return no harvest. And I say this not as some distant voice but as someone who has watched Sagittarians for decades. Every time you let go of the dead weight, you do not just recover. You soar. You rise higher than even you expected. It is as though your arrow, once unburdened, can finally fly toward its rightful horizon. Now, let us move to the second theme, which is no less striking, being chosen. Yes, I can already hear you sigh and roll your eyes at the drama of the phrase, but the cards are emphatic. The Emperor and Judgment speak of initiation, of stepping into authority, of being lifted into a role that was always waiting for you. In the next 3 months, you are not simply playing supporting roles in other people's stories, you are being crowned. You are being asked to step into the circle of the chosen ones. And let me be clear, this is not about ego. You are not chosen because you are prettier, louder, or better at self-promotion. You are chosen because you are aligned. Every failure, every restless journey, every disappointment that left you scratching your head was in fact a training ground. You were being prepared to step into this exact season. Now the universe is saying, suit up. We need you. For some Sagittarians, this will manifest in tangible ways, a leadership role at work, a promotion or recognition for your talents. For others, it will be more subtle but equally important. Your community looks to you for guidance, your family turns to you for wisdom, or your creative work reaches the exact audience that has been waiting for your voice. On the deepest level, however, it is a spiritual calling. You are asked to carry wisdom forward, to keep a flame alive that others depend upon. This is the year of triumph 2025, and the triumph is not a trophy for your mantle but a torch for others to see by. You are being crowned because someone, somewhere, needs what only you can bring. You may find this daunting. After all, Sagittarians are known for their love of freedom, not for their love of obligation, but let me remind you that freedom is not lost in responsibility. In fact, the right kind of responsibility gives you a deeper, truer freedom, the kind that no plane ticket can purchase. Now, because this is Sagittarius, let me add a little humor. Sometimes you look around as if the universe made a clerical error. Wait, me? Are you sure you don't want Leo? They already have the spotlight and better hair. But no, Sagittarius, it is you. Not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. That is the secret. Destiny does not look for perfection, it looks for readiness. And you, after years of wandering, learning, and occasionally tripping over your own adventurous feet, are ready. So as you step into these months, remember the paradox and the promise. Release the curse, and the blessing arrives. Accept the crown, and know it is not just for your glory but for the benefit of those around you. This is your initiation, your elevation, your triumph. You are the archer who carries the flame, the traveler who knows that sometimes a cancelled flight is the best thing that could happen, the philosopher who can laugh even when the tower falls, and the chosen one who understands that triumph is sweetest when it is shared. These 3 months are your stage, Sagittarius. Step onto it with courage, humor, and the wisdom of one who finally knows that rejection is nothing more than divine protection dressed in disguise. Sagittarius, let's take a deep breath before we dive into this next stretch, because the universe is about to throw you one of its favorite plot twists. The Tower card has appeared not once, but twice, and for any reader of the stars and the psyche, that is no small detail. The Tower, in its raw symbolism, is disruption, sudden change, and the crumbling of structures you thought were secure. But here's where the nuance matters. The Tower is not punishment, it is liberation. It is not a cosmic scolding but a necessary demolition, a tearing down of what was already unstable so that something new, truer, and more durable can be built. Imagine constructing a house on sand and hearing the foundation creak beneath your feet. Would you rather it collapse now, before you've filled it with furniture and memories, or years later when you've given your entire life to it? The Tower, in its brutal honesty, spares you from pouring your energy into what was never built to last. And yes, it stings because Sagittarians are famous for loyalty, for sticking by friends, lovers, and projects far longer than reason might suggest. When a job disappears, when a partnership ends, or when a friend you trusted walks away, you will wonder why you fought so hard, why you gave so much, only to see it dissolve. But hindsight, that sly magician, will eventually reveal the gift hidden inside the rubble. Had it not ended, you never would have stepped into your truer calling. What feels like rejection is in fact redirection. What looks like collapse is actually a cosmic evacuation. The Tower does not knock you down, it ejects you from places you were never meant to stay. And once you understand that, you can repeat the mantra that should carry you through these months: this ejection is my protection. Now, alongside the Tower comes another theme, and this one carries its own brand of mischief: signs and synchronicities. You've been asking for guidance, and the universe is not shy about answering. But here's the fine print, Sagittarius: when you pray for a sign, prepare for it to slam the door behind you. Ask for clarity about a relationship, and the truth may arrive in such a way that returning is impossible. Ask for guidance about your job, and the message might come wrapped in a pink slip. You love freedom more than any sign, but you also hesitate before making the leap. Spirit knows this, and so it plays tough love with you. If you won't jump, it will burn the bridge, so you have no choice but to cross the river. It sounds harsh, and it is. But it is also profoundly liberating. The arrow of Sagittarius is not designed to loop back. Once the string is released, it must fly forward. These months are about trusting that trajectory. The lesson is to stop second-guessing the direction of your own momentum. The signs are not there to keep you comfortable, they are there to move you, sometimes by force, into the next chapter of your story. And while all of this might feel heavy, let's not forget the grounding reality of the material world, because you will be asked to face that too. The Four of Pentacles paired with the World suggests that how you handle your resources in the next 3 months will shape the stage for the adventures ahead. This is not only about money, though money is certainly part of it. Yes, save wisely, invest strategically, and avoid the temptation to blow your entire savings on last-minute trips that satisfy your wanderlust for a weekend but sabotage your security for the future. Spirit is gently telling you to be a little less impulsive with your wallet. The real upgrade isn't first class, it's long-term freedom. But resources extend beyond finances. Think about how you invest your time, your energy, and your ideas. That certification you've been meaning to pursue, that skill you've avoided out of procrastination, that side project you've whispered about but never acted upon, these are the investments that will yield exponential dividends. To the Sagittarian mind, which often gets restless with routine, these pursuits may feel slow, but they will pay off in ways that expand your world. And here is where a little humor fits. We both know you'd rather book 3 international trips than spend a dime on career training, but maybe this is the season where you redirect that adventurous spirit into building stability that allows for even greater adventures down the road. When I look at this sequence of cards and symbols, I see a pattern that is as old as myth and as immediate as your next choice. The Tower reminds you that what is false must fall, and that clinging to it only prolongs the inevitable. The signs and synchronicities remind you that the universe communicates clearly, but not always gently, and that the path forward is often carved by burning the bridges you were too hesitant to leave behind. And the lessons of the Pentacles remind you that resources, money, time, energy are sacred tools, not just to be spent but to be invested. Together, these themes suggest a period of upheaval, clarity, and restructuring. It may look like chaos in the moment, but in truth it is the preparation of a larger design. Sagittarius, these months are not for fear but for faith, not for clinging but for releasing, not for reckless indulgence but for wise investment. And let us not forget, humor will be your saving grace. You are the philosopher-comedian of the Zodiac, the one who can look at the rubble of the tower and say, well, at least demolition was free. That humor is not denial, it is alchemy. It transforms endings into beginnings, losses into lessons, and uncertainty into adventure. And so you move forward, not with despair, but with the quiet confidence that every collapse clears space for something greater. The tower is your reminder that the sky is wide, the signs are many, and your arrow is meant to fly not circle back. Sagittarius, let's talk about one of the most underestimated yet powerful gifts you carry, your curiosity. In the tarot spread before us, the Page of Swords evolves into the King of Swords, and that transformation tells the whole story of these months ahead. It begins quietly, with a spark of interest in something new, an idea, a project, a skill, or even a fresh perspective. At first, you may feel like the beginner, the intern, the student fumbling through the basics while everyone else seems to already know the rules. But your curiosity is relentless. While others skim the surface, you dive deep. You listen to podcasts, not just for entertainment but to catch the rhythm of new knowledge. You read, not because someone told you to, but because you feel compelled to know what lies beneath. You test, you observe, and you keep pushing past the edges where others give up. And that is what sets you apart. Psychologists remind us that curiosity is not just a personality trait, it is a psychological engine. Those who approach life with curiosity rather than fear learn faster, adapt quicker, and recover stronger. Sagittarius, that is your natural state. You cannot be confined by fear for long, because your restless spirit always wants to know what's next, what's possible, what's just beyond the horizon. And this curiosity, nurtured and disciplined over these 3 months, will transform you. By the time December arrives, you will realize that you've shifted from the wide-eyed page into the calculating, strategic king. You will not just know more than your competitors, you will see further, sense trends earlier, and recognize opportunities before others have even noticed the door. That foresight is not magic, it is the reward of staying curious while others got comfortable. But let's not get too solemn, because this is Sagittarius we're talking about. You are not meant to be a dusty professor trapped in a library forever, you are the Zodiac's philosopher-comedian. That humor of yours is more than a coping mechanism, it is a form of alchemy. When life throws you a tower moment, when structures collapse and plans unravel, you don't just cry into your pillow. You step back, tilt your head, and say with a smirk, well, at least it'll make a great story for my memoir. And that laughter is sacred. It's not denial, it's transformation. It turns endings into beginnings, suffering into wisdom, and pain into art. Humor is the spark that keeps your flame alive, the quality that ensures you not only survive chaos but thrive in it. Other signs might wallow, you turn the mess into material, the rubble into a roadmap. So what do these 3 months hold in store? October is the season of release. The curse leaves your life, the dead weight, the stagnant situation, the toxic tie. It stings, yes, but almost immediately you feel the weight lift, as though your wings can finally spread. November brings the crowning. You are elevated, chosen, and called into a role of leadership. Suddenly, the endings make sense, you see why the collapse had to come before the rise. And December delivers the reward. The seeds you planted in your skills, your savings, your curiosity begin to bear fruit. You find yourself standing taller, wiser, and more confident, stepping into authority and triumph. This is not just a personal victory, it is the year of triumph 2025, and you, Sagittarius, are one of the chosen ones to carry its banner forward. And here's the final reminder, The arrow never doubts the target. Once released, it flies. These months are about trusting that forward momentum, even when the path is unclear. Let go of the need to circle back, because your destiny is not behind you. It is ahead, waiting for you to claim it. So, Sagittarius, enjoy this season of transformation. Savor the release, embrace the rise, and celebrate the reward. Laugh at the towers when they fall, because you already know they are clearing the stage for your greater act. And above all, keep that flame of curiosity alive. It is your compass, your shield, and your superpower. If today's reading resonated with you, let it be a reminder that your journey is not meant to be walked alone. Share this message with someone who might need it. Subscribe to our channel Zodiac Talks Tarot to stay connected, and give this video a like so we know this wisdom is finding its way to the right people. Until next time, Sagittarius, keep flying, keep laughing, and keep walking toward the horizon that was always meant for you.